Okay, everybody, it is me, Gregory Mannarino. It is Sunday, October 17th, 2021, and even though it's Sunday, well, we got to set ourselves up here for the week coming, prepare ourselves, keep our eyes open, raise our awareness. Lots of stuff going on here. So what we're going to do here in this newest segment of Markets A Look Ahead is first look back. I kind of do this all the time. Last week for this market, okay, we're going to cover metals and Bitcoin and cryptos and crude and energy and everything else. But let's start off with this. This market last week had its best week since June. All right, what does that mean? What is this telling us here? Well, there's a lot of momentum behind the market. So, I kind of alluded to this Friday, last time we were together. I said the momentum behind this market is likely to continue this week. An object in motion tends to stay in motion unless it is acted upon by an opposing force. Okay, this is a general rule here with regard to everything, even the stock market. Now, with that said, like I said, momentum here, fear of missing out, surging inflation. Let me put a perspective on this for you real quick. There's a lot of people that write to me all the time. Greg, are you paying attention to what's happening here with inflation? It's skyrocketing. Prices are doing this. Yes, of course I pay attention to it. I talk about it all the time. But the main theme here to people that are writing to me about surging inflation is they feel that it's going to affect the stock market in a negative way. No, nothing could be further from the truth. Surging inflation right now is actually going to drive the stock market higher. Higher. Look, I've explained to all of you for a very, very long time, the crowd is always wrong. When people are looking in one direction, you generally need to look in the opposite one, okay? And this is a clear example of it. People don't understand what's happening to them. I mean, this is all by design. People think, as astonishing as it may be, that what they're experiencing right now is just by chance. It's just by accident that all of this is happening. No, nothing here at all whatsoever. And I mean nothing. There's nothing here that is by accident. It's all wheels that have been put in motion a long time ago. And I've explained this to you for a long time. This is how I have kept all of you, ahead of this curve for years, understanding clearly. I've explained to you many, many times that the environment we are in would develop like this, exactly like we're seeing. I've told you what central banks are going to do: inflate, and then inflate some more. I explained to you that the economy would crater as the stock market continued to go higher. I've explained that energy prices would continue to surge. Pretty much everything we're seeing here, I have covered before it has happened. To me, it's very simple. It's a cause and effect. It's a cause and effect. If we realize the end game, we know what's happening here, we realize what central banks are doing, okay? Well, then we can get ourselves in all of the right spots, at least from a financial standpoint. You always have to have the high ground, people. I have covered this with you since literally time immemorial, and everybody's situation is a little bit different. So what you need to do, again, is obviously pay attention to this blog, and I know that you do that, and think about what it means for you. I have put it in that way or perspective for a long time. So you and I need to obviously connect, all right? There's a lot of people that don't get it, and they never will get it. No matter what you do, no matter what you show them, you could tell them water is wet and they just won't believe it. And that's fine. That's just the way it's going to be. There's all these people that live in a constant state of denial. That's just the way it's going to be. But people like you and I, and there are thousands, there are tens of thousands of us. Okay, this channel here is pretty big, and I think, at least I would like to believe, we're all on the same page. You and I have the ability to see down the road a little further than most people, and that gives us a tremendous evolutionary advantage. I really believe that. I've told all of you for a very, very long time, there is a natural selection occurring here. I told you how this would play out. Extreme haves, extreme have-nots, a new feudal system, an entire class of people being deliberately exterminated. Okay, the middle class has always suffered like this. The people at the bottom, they're already there. They can't be any worse off. So the middle class are the ones that always get sucked dry, and their wealth just gets stolen and moved to the higher echelon. It will never stop. No matter who sits behind the Resolute desk, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. This is the way it's always going to be, the way it always has been. Now, with that in mind, again, you and I, if you've been with me for any length of time, are really set up perfectly. We're hedged against whatever dangers may lay in our path, again, keeping that high ground. Understanding the trajectory of things, why they are moving this way. Okay, what is actually going on? The development of a new paradigm, a new system, a one world government under the rulership of central banks. That is the truth. There's no representation for the people anymore. Governments are not who they seem to be. It's all a show here. The divide and conquer mechanism has been put in place, over the last few presidents here in the United States, to an extreme. And this is also, again, by design. It's not what it seems to be. Anyway, with that said, let's go back to this market and everything connected to it. A lot of momentum here behind the market. Again, without something acting against this market, okay, some kind of a outlier, this market is going much higher, much, much higher. This week, again, without something acting against the market, it's going higher. We more than likely will see new record highs. You all knew this was coming, despite all the calls for crashes and everything else you can think about. These people are never right. Anybody, again, I'm just going to say it, pointing towards a particular time, a particular date, there's another agenda there. Even if they're pointing at, for example, something like Evergrande. This is going to be it. This is going to bring down the entire system. Turn them off. Turn them all off. It's impossible to do this, okay? I don't believe, seriously, that these people that are calling for these kinds of events are immersed in the markets globally in a way that I am, okay? Not only do I study this stuff around the clock, I'm just going to come out here and say it. I have connections that most people would probably kill to have, okay? I talk to everybody. I know everybody, all right? And that's how I'm able to keep all of you ahead of the curve here. Trust me on this one. There are people out there that don't want to see people get hurt, okay? And they're willing to maybe share things with me that I pass on to all of you that you would not hear anywhere else. That's the truth here. Anyway, with that in mind, let's move forward. I already covered the markets, people. Without something acting against it, stock market's going higher. I wrote down a few things here today. Bitcoin, let's start with cryptos here, is still above 61,000. We will be hitting new record highs. Now, I want to talk about this real quick. A lot of people ask me about the Bitcoin ETF. I wish Wall Street would keep their hands off this stuff, but it looks like it's not going to happen. Once this ETF does happen, and it's going to, I would expect volatility in the price action of Bitcoin. If it does drop, I would buy it. Okay. If it goes higher, I would be buying that too. No matter how you want to look at it, you need to be a buyer of Bitcoin. You need to be a buyer of cryptocurrencies here. With regard to precious metals, people, it's the biggest no-brainer. And I mean this, on the face of the planet Earth, you must be in hard assets, okay? You must be in silver, number one, okay? I love gold, I love platinum and palladium. I'm not talking about ETFs here. I'm talking about the actual assets. You understand? You need to be in them. That's that's as plain as I can possibly say it. We understand the game that is being played. Fine. Let them play their game. We're going to play ours. The debt is in a hyper bubble. This hyper bubble is going to burst at one point. When? Don't ask me. Ask one of these people that are calling for a crash. I guess they're smarter than I am, and they've always been wrong. Always. Never once have they been correct. Okay. No, we don't know when that's going to be. It's going to be at a time of choosing of central banks. That's going to finish the situation, the grand finale. The grand finale of grand finales, okay? And that is going to occur at a time of their choosing. We just need to be ready for it. We need to be hedged here, people. We need to be in the stock market. Large cap, dividend paying stocks, let them pay us to hold their stocks. We need to be trading this market. I could not make this easier for any of my lions out here who subscribe to my newsletter, especially. I have my stock picks on my website, traderschoice.net, a link to my free newsletter to all of you who get all kinds of perks. I send stuff out all the time. It's 100% free. You know how to play these things. You know how to play this market. You gotta, bet against the debt, become your own central bank, keep yourself hedged in this environment. And if you can't do that, I understand that some people maybe don't have the resources like maybe a person like I do. Can't speak English or anything for that matter. But anyway, but if you need to pick one asset, just one, okay, it's silver. It's physical silver, in my opinion. But if you have the means to stay diversified, you should do that. Now, I already spoke about inflation. It's going to continue to surge, people. Energy prices are skyrocketing. Crude oil right now is just about $83 a barrel. It's the driver of the market along with the debt market, okay? Crude oil is inflating for a reason along with the debt market. It's fueling the stock market, okay? That's how it works. You all know that. I don't think, honestly, if you've been with me for any length of time, there is a single person out here that has a better understanding and perspective of the market than you do. That's really the truth. So you can literally watch other YouTube channels and laugh because you're getting fed lines of dog shit, all right? You know this market. You know what's happening. You know why it's happening. You realize our economy is cratering at its fastest pace ever as a percentage of GDP. Manufacturing, we just got a slew of continuing bad economic news, and it's not going to stop. Expect more bad economic news this week, and that's going to drive the stock market higher. You understand? And this whole taper thing with the Fed, it's another charade. It's another joke. And even if the Fed does something relatively soon, it's not going to stop surging inflation. It's not going to stop it. There's no way to stop it. The floodgates have been opened. Trillions upon quadrillions of dollars and dollar derivatives have been created out of thin air since the meltdown of '08. And now those dollars that exist in whatever form they may be in are now coming home. They're coming home here. And they're starting to chase, I can't even say the same amount of goods, a lesser amount of goods. This is why we are getting surging inflation. With regard to the dollar index or the Dixie, it is relatively flat to lower. But look, we're talking about the relative value. People still don't understand this. They're looking at the dollar and thinking, oh, the dollar is so strong. No, we're looking at the relative value here. Okay, relatively, the dollar is strong compared to other currencies. But look around you. This inflation, why is it happening? Well, because the dollar is losing purchasing power. People are dumping dollars faster than they ever have. Henceforth, why we're getting these surging retail sales numbers. People are dumping dollars, okay? As you would expect to see in an environment like this, where inflation is skyrocketing out of control. Ask any real economist, okay? Not these fake ones that they conjure up out of thin air. Oh, economists poll, they're saying this, that, and the other thing. It's all fake. It's not real. Okay, all the mainstream media outlets are propaganda machines to the highest possible order. The highest. Ignore it. Ignore that stuff too. Use your own intellect. You see, you have a God-given gift. It's called an intellect, okay? And you can use it. Do things make sense to you? Are things adding up to you? What is your intellect telling you? I would be willing to bet that if you follow your own intellect more so than you do now, you'd be a lot better off. That's really the truth here. Anyway, people, look, I covered a lot of stuff here, a long video. I hope this stuff makes sense to you. As you know, I'll see you in the morning. And I will keep all of you, and I promised you from how many years ago? I don't know, a decade? I will keep you so far ahead of this market, so far ahead of what is actually, of what is going on. You have no idea. Maybe you do. Some of you have been with me for a long period of time. I got your back. I got your back. And I know you have mine. We are a team, okay? This isn't Greg Mannarino's thing. I said this how many times? This is our thing, okay? We all come here and we meet together. That's what this is. This is like a meeting room. You know what I mean? This isn't just a blog. We come here, we put things into perspective, we raise our awareness, we understand what's going on, right? This way we can make the right decisions and the right choices, not just for ourselves, but for our family, for our community, for people that we don't even know, okay? Because, again, you know, going back to what I always say, we are all responsible for each other. And what they're trying to do to us is hideous. Divide us by any means they possibly can. You make up something by, I don't know, maybe it's going to be hair color or be the next one here, you know, by race, religion, creeds, skin color, obviously, socioeconomic status, whatever they got to do. You know, vaxxers versus non-vaxxers, whatever they have to do to keep people hating each other is what they're going to do. And they're going to come up with more things because this is how they gain control. If we were to come together, instantly they would lose power. But the fact of the matter is there are so many brain-dead, zombified sheep out there, and there's more and more every day. That's why you and I, we got to stick together on this, and I know we're going to. Love you a lot. Share the video. I will see you in the morning.